Hello and Namaste. Today I want to tell you about three unique temples of Himachal Pradesh. Recently I went to Manali for a trek in the Himalayas. I visited three fascinating temples while I was there. When you trek in the Himalayas, you can feel the presence of divinity in the mountains. The beauty is breathtaking and palpably alive. Every hour, the weather changes and the colors change. Shiva seems to be residing in every corner and every peak of the mountain range. It is only possible to approach these mountains with humility and surrender. The temples of this region reflect these sentiments. No man made structure, however towering, can compare with the magnificence, the power, the majesty, the divinity, and the beauty of this mountain. Every temple that I visited seemed to have emerged from the nature that surrounds it and seamlessly integrates with the mountain like a musical note in a beautiful melody. First, let me take you to the Hidimba Mata temple in the heart of Manali. The story of this temple dates back to the Mahabharata. The five Pandavas apparently visited Himachal during their exile. There they met the Rakshasa siblings Hidimba and Hidimbi. Bhima, the second Pandava brother, fell in love with Hidimbi. But Hidimbi had taken an oath that she will only marry the man who was brave enough and strong enough to defeat her brother Hidimba, who was a fearless warrior. Bhima defeated and killed Hidimba and married his sister Hidimbi. They had a son Gatothgacha who played a pivotal role in the battle of Kurukshetra. According to the local legends, she had two other sons who also died in the battle of Kurukshetra. She was the queen of Himachal and she single-handedly trained her sons to become great warriors. She bravely sent them to fight for their father, knowing very well that they might not return. Krishna was so moved by Hidimbi's sacrifice, he blessed her that although she is born a Rakshasi, she will be worshipped as a form of Goddess Durga in Kaliyuga. During Navrathri, all Hindus across the nation worship Goddess Durga, but people in Manali worship Hidimba Devi. It is said that after Hidimbi lost her sons, she sat on a rock in the middle of a forest of cedar trees and did penance for many years. Her temple is built around this rock. This is the Hidimba Temple, also known as Hadimba Temple. This temple is situated in the middle of a forest of cedar trees. Look at the towering cedar trees around the temple. Although the temple is in the heart of Manali, this forest full of ancient trees makes you believe that it has remained unchanged from the time of Hidimbi. The temple was built in 1553 by Maharaja Bahadur Singh. Intricate wooden carvings adorn the entrance. When you enter the temple, you will see a huge boulder and a small idol of Mahishasura If you peep below the boulder, you will find two large footprints, which is believed to be the footprints of Hidimba Mata. There is a long rope hanging from the roof. It is said that in ancient times, this rope was used to punish people who had committed heinous crimes. They were tied to the rope and crashed against the boulder that forms the sanctum. Now a bell hangs from this rope. On either side of the door frame, there is Durga and Mahishasura Mardini. I have placed familiar images of these deities for comparison. Here are Shiva and Parvati seated on Nandi, the Rishabharuda form which is common here in South India. Here is Varaha Avatara of Vishnu. This looks like Krishna playing his flute. This is Brahma seated on his hamsa and holding the ladle used in performing yajna. I am guessing this must be Hidimbi. Here is a view of the outer wall. These horns on the walls of the temple seems to reiterate the fact that this is a temple for the Rakshasi queen Hidimbi. This is a view of the intricate carvings in the entrance. There is also a temple for Hidimbi's son Gatothgacha close to this temple. I think Hidimbi temple is a symbol of the inclusivity of Hinduism. Which other culture would acknowledge the marriage of a prince and a Rakshasi, celebrate her son as a hero, and accord the status of a goddess to her? Modern India has a lot to learn from her ancient history. Now let me take you to Anjani Mahadev Temple. As I was trekking up the mountains, I kept seeing this temple with long winding stairs. Our guide told us that it was Anjani Mahadev Temple. Just like the famous Amarnath ice lingam in Jammu and Kashmir, an ice lingam forms here during winter months. Between October and March, a 30 to 40 feet high ice lingam forms here. That is why it is also called the Amarnath of Kullu or Chota Amarnath. It is believed that Anjana Devi, the mother of Hanuman, did penance for Shiva here because she wanted a son. It is here that she conceived Hanuman. That's why this temple is also called Anjani Mahadev Temple. When I visited it in early August, the ice lingam had not yet formed. This is the waterfalls that turns into the ice lingam in winter. There is a Shiva lingam placed under the waterfall which receives perennial abhishekam from the falls until it freezes over. There are no towering gopurams or intricate sculptures here. The Himalayas with the clouds kissing its peaks, the many colors of the mountains surrounding the temples, the gushing rivers and waterfalls make you feel that this is a temple built by nature itself. There is a temple dedicated for sage Vashishta in the banks of Bias River near Manali. It is a beautiful wooden structure with intricate carvings. There is a striking statue of sage Vashishta with a moustache and wearing a dhoti. It is very rare to find an idol of a sage with a moustache in the south. This temple is famous for its hot springs, which is believed to cure many diseases. Vashishta is one of the Sapta Rishis of Puranas, whose father is Brahma himself. He was the Kulaguru of Sri Rama. His rivalry with sage Vishwamitra, another powerful rishi, is a famous Puranic tale. According to the Sthala Purana of this temple, Vashishta's children were killed by Vishwamitra. He was very depressed and tried to kill himself by jumping into the Bias River. But Bias River refused to take his life. So he started living here on her banks. The river was originally called Vipasha, meaning freedom from bondage, which later morphed to Bias. It is said that Rama sent Lakshmana in search of his guru, who found him living here in the banks of the Bias. Lakshmana noticed that his guru was struggling to bathe in the cold waters of the Bias River. He shot an arrow and created these hot springs for his guru to bathe. That is the origin story of the hot springs within this temple. There is also a temple for Rama here. It is much bigger than the Vashishta temple. You will find Rama, Lakshmana, Sita and Hanuman in the temple. The Rama here is holding a chin mudra in his hands, which is something I have never seen before. There is a stone structure which hosts the Garbhagriham. There is a wooden structure in the front. The stone part of the temple appears to be more ancient. The wooden entrance has beautiful carvings. There is also a Shiva temple opposite to the Vashist temple. Anjani Mahadev, Hidimba and Vashist. These are the three unique temples of Himachal. I was able to visit these temples because of the amazing group of people with whom I went on this trek. A special thanks to all of them. I also want to extend my thanks to Venki and Radha for the great photographs they took. Many of their beautiful pictures have featured in this video. That's it from me. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and press the bell icon for reminders. Please share it with your friends and like-minded people. Until next time, Namaste.